Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Udine Far East Film Festival, and I see you all turned up for our Hong Kong Films panel. So these are currently the future of Hong Kong cinema. Great. Okay, so I want to first say that I know everyone wants to ask questions about the films, but we put these directors together for a reason, because we want them to talk about the Hong Kong film industry in general. Because it's been changing a lot, and these guys are, first or second time filmmakers. So I want to see their sort of perspective about the film industry. So we're going to be asking more general questions about the industry, but if you guys, when we open the floor up to questions, if you guys want to ask more specific questions about the films, you're all welcome to do so. So my co-host Tim will introduce our guest.
Hi everyone. I'd like to start by introducing CHEUK, who is here. So Nick is the director of Time Still Turns to Pages, which we screened last night. That's his first film as a director. Before he made this film, he was actually an assistant director on films like That Even Within. He also made short films, and he became a scriptwriter. Time Still Turns to Pages got its funding through the Hong Kong first feature film initiative. And just recently, the film was, just earlier this month, the film won Best New Director for Nick CHEUK at the Hong Kong Film Awards. All up, the film got 12 nominations in the Hong Kong Film Awards. Also here with us today is Jonathan Lee. So Jonathan's here with Dust to Dust. It's his second film. His previous film was The Brink, which came out in 2017. It was an action movie. Jonathan has come up through the ranks in Hong Kong film largely as an assistant director. He's worked on some pretty awesome films, including Infernal Affairs 3, Dog Bite Dog, and Blind Detective. And earlier this year, Jonathan was the winner of Best Director at the Hong Kong Film Critics Society Awards. And also, another director here with us today is Lawrence Pang. So Lawrence is here today with a film called In Broad Daylight, which we screened yesterday. It's his second film. He went to study film in Vancouver and then returned to Hong Kong. And after he returned, he made his first film, When Sea Goes with G7. He is also a director for TV. He has directed a very popular TV series called In Deep We Trust. His awards history is also very good. His film In Broad Daylight went into the Hong Kong Film Awards earlier this month with 16 nominations, which was the most of any film in the competition. And it walked off with wins for Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress, who is Rachel Leung.
Okay, now we'll introduce our two actors. Since her breakout role in Somewhere Beyond the Mist, which earned her a Best New Performer nomination at the Hong Kong Film Awards, she has been featured in films such as Far, Far Away, A Light Never Goes Out, and Lost Love, all of which have played here in Far East Film. For her performance as LEUNG in Broad Daylight, she has won Best Supporting Actress at both the Asian Film Awards and the Hong Kong Film Awards. So please put your hands together for Rachel Leung. Last but not least, he is an independent filmmaker who has also found success in front of the camera as an actor in short films, music videos, and feature films since 2011. In 2019, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor at the Hong Kong Film Awards for the film Sok Sok. This year, he was nominated for Best Actor as the teacher in Time Still Turns the Pages. Please put your hands together for Lo Chun-Ye. Okay, sorry, that took a long time. I'm going to ask like a really broad question, but I think it's important because we have both actors and directors here who can, who has different perspectives on this. But what is the state of Hong Kong cinema in your perspective? Because because your films are invested in very different fashion, made very differently. So I think it's interesting to see the different perspectives. So we can start maybe with Nick, and while I translate for Director Lee.
Times to Pages, this project is its budget is comes from government funding. Actually, in Hong Kong, there are different kinds of scale. Maybe I speak in Cantonese first. 即係我想講咧，就係即係我哋有唔同 scale 嘅，即係譬如而家有幾百啊，譬如簡直係千幾啦，跟住指盡你係內地，可唔可得啊？冇千百年冇啊嘛，咁啊陣間講係冇啊，係啦。咁我哋唔 care 啦，而家係咁嘅樣，係啦，即係我哋幾百啦，我哋兩個都係幾百，係減慢啲，係啦，幾百啦。咁因為個 scale 上邊，我哋指盡係有分別㗎嘛。其實香港而家就有好多。就係話攞政府分嘅，或者啲電公司出，但係我哋個 market 係有限嘅，所以我哋佢都係幾百嘅先，係啦，咁我哋嘅分別係知道講嘅嘛。
So because our market is very limited, there are very different types of scales of budget. For example, my film, Times to Turn Pages, and Lawrence's film apparently are made for a very limited budget, whereas Jonathan's film, it's a main co-production, so it's a much bigger film. So that's the difference in market.
What I think about the market.
Yeah, how is the market?
We really need to find a way to spread out Hong Kong and not just for the market or Hong Kong. Because the market in Hong Kong is just such a small place. Just like in the 90s or 80s, especially after the pandemic, because everyone see good films all over the world, and you got to find a way to spread out. Because while I was a kid, I don't know that maybe Korean or Thailand movies, but now they're like the top #1 Asian films all over the world. This is the kind of problem, quality we have to face it. Yes.
The state of Hong Kong industry now. Actually, it has been well discussed from the local critics. Maybe within these 10 years, they will call this a paradigm change in Hong Kong film industry. In my perspective, many people may say that there are so many Hong Kong films turns to social realism in these years, but in my understanding, actually, is the number of the social realism film. Actually, it is not rising suddenly, but actually the real situation is that because of the scale, the production budget is keep lower and lower because of the market, the capacity. Because I think many people know Hong Kong cinema in 90s, and for the action movie, the gangster movie, cops and thief, but all of them need so much budget. And after all these years, we can see the Asian market is changing. You can see the Malaysia, Indonesia, Korea, and also the very big industry, Japan. They are all very strong right now. So in other words, the Hong Kong film, their market share is not that big now. And then, so this is obvious that the budget for those action film, they can't sustain that long. And then what left behind is that the low budget film, and they focus on the social realistic situation in Hong Kong. So so now the audience will say that, oh, it seems that the realism cinema become the dominant sector in Hong Kong. But for me, they just keep their numbers. They are not suddenly growing in the numbers, but they turns to be more obvious to the audience.
Rachel, as an actor, I think you have a different perspective, maybe.
Oh, ciao everyone. So actually, I'm quite optimistic about it, because even though the market share is narrowed down, but I believe that we got like new actors and actresses and directors who are like trying to create a new form of market in Hong Kong. So although the market share is narrowed down, but I believe that even in this film festival, you can see as like Times New Term pages in broad daylight or even like we got very different variety of films. So yeah, I think we are like trying to do our best in this narrow market.
Buongiorno a tutti. È un onore essere qui. Siamo felici di essere qui. You know, every time when we talk about Hong Kong cinema, and then we usually talk about those glorious days, like 80s, 90s, or even 70s. And then when, like us, like young directors, new directors, there's a saying in Hong Kong, saying like, Hong Kong cinema is dead. Like it's dead. But I've been hearing this quote for like 10 years, 20 years, but we're still making movies, right? So to be honest, to me, I enjoyed those glorious days. They were like my idols, my heroes, like those big names directors, Hong Kong directors. But I think let's just stuck with the glorious days in the past, and we should stop scared about the future. I think we should just like being like a well-prepared filmmakers and try our best to do the movies and treasure every moment like today. That's my feelings. Yes. Grazie mille.
Hello。我覺得每個時代都有唔同嘅香港電影啦。我經歷咗好多個時代，即係正如頭先簡導演所講，我自己經歷咗好多唔同嘅低潮嘅時代，亦都好多大家認為香港電影會死嘅時代。我自己認為我哋呢個年代，我哋呢個時代嘅導演或者演員都好，我哋就係需要拍呢個時代嘅電影。所以我覺得而家係我哋經歷緊一個創作嘅問題。頭先都講緊投資嘅問題，或者係 budget 嘅問題，但係我覺得係創作先係緊要。喺而家呢個年代，我哋好多戲都冇做，尤其是鬼片啊，或者係一啲甚至乎一啲係大家好難開嘅電影，即係因為係有 budget 嘅問題，或者個市場嘅問題，我哋香港係比較難開，所以我哋係咯，我哋呢個時代嘅導演應該要再努力啲。
So I lived through many lows in the industry. I've been in the industry for a long time, and I heard them talk about budget and market. But I think the problem we're facing is not a matter of money; I think a matter of creativity. There are a lot of genres because of the market size, because of budget. We can't do those genres anymore. For example, horror films or action films. So I think us filmmakers in this generation, we have to face how we can touch those genres again, or how to be creative again. That's the biggest problem.
A little follow-up question for Jonathan, actually, because mainland co-production is, of course, a big part of Hong Kong film and has been for quite a few years now. And in your case, with Dust to Dust, you actually brought basically a Hong Kong crew. All the significant people on the film were Hong Kong talents as well, and you took them into a project that was made in the mainland. What do you feel that the new generation of emerging Hong Kong filmmakers has to offer across in the mainland as well?
我自己覺得，因為我一路做副導演出身，我自己都去過好多唔同嘅劇組或者唔同嘅大陸嘅戲裏邊做過。當年嘅我哋就係帶好多製作或者帶我哋自己嘅經驗入邊。但係而家我覺得我哋應該唔需要帶入去，需要自己我哋本身香港嘅創作人或者係個理念，我哋帶入呢個電影演得。冇需要好多製作，佢哋已經識嘅啦，因為我哋係只不過我哋用我自己理念，我自己創作去行入呢個電影裏邊，或者係話俾大家觀眾聽，我哋可以做得到。
So when I was an assistant director, we brought a lot of, I worked on a lot of sets in the mainland and Hong Kong film crews. We brought our know-how, our production knowledge into the crew. But now at this time, they already picked up all that knowledge. So I think what this generation of filmmakers from Hong Kong need to bring is their creativity, because they already know all the production knowledge. So what they need to bring now is their beliefs and what their creativity has to bring to that market. So all three of your films have a big name producer attached. So Jonathan's has Soy Chan, and then Time Still Turn Pages, and also in Broad Daylight has Derek Yee. So I want to know is it important that to get films now made in Hong Kong, do you have to have a famous director attached as your producer? And also, what does having that name, what do they bring to your project? We can start with Jonathan this time. 因為三個都有個大監製嘅，而家我其實即係需要有一個比較資深嘅畫面監製，
我自己因為我同鄭保瑞合作咗好耐，我係佢做導演嘅時候，我係做緊副導演。我哋同一時間，我哋去製作或者創作佢嘅電影。佢都教咗我好多佢嘅做導演嘅理念，或者佢點樣去做導演。我覺得呢個時代係我哋揾佢哋，我自己咧就揾佢，因為我同佢好近，大家諗嘅嘢好近，所以佢會幫到我有好多我嘅盲點或者我創作嘅盲點，佢會帶到俾我，或者係我哋喺後期裏邊拍攝完之後。我哋會有啲乜嘢問題？譬如係剪接上邊，我哋會有啲咩方向性嘅問題，佢會話到俾你聽，我哋究竟點樣去改進。
So I worked with Soy very closely because I was his assistant director. So we are very close in terms of beliefs and our creative beliefs. So when I'm making a film, he picks up a lot of my creative blind spots in both during production and in post-production. And in that sense, he helped quite a bit in my film.
For my producer Derek Yee, I think it's like 6 years ago. No, yeah, it's 6 years ago. And then I didn't know him before. I didn't have a chance to work with him, but I knocked the door and said, hey, this is my story. Do you want to produce my story? And then he read the story, and then I think the story makes him remind him of his first work, Lunatics.
The Lunatics.
Yes, the Lunatics, and then. I still remember the first slides he told me. It's like, oh, like these story remind him of the Lunatics, and back in the days he really think the cinema can change the world, or at least change the society, but end up didn't change a bit, maybe a little bit, but at least like cinema or films, movies can, what are the questions? Maybe not the answers, but we can keep bringing out the questions. This is his first line. It's a little bit dramatic, but that's his style. And then I thought it's easier for me to, because he's like, of course, Derek Yee is a big name director, producers, but I've still been waiting for 6 years to find fundings and investors to invest or fund my movie. So, but all these years, he brought me to the Hong Kong Film Awards creative team. I worked with Nick in my first year in the Hong Kong Film Awards creative team, and then. He brought me to meet a lot of filmmakers, and he taught me a lot actually. So I do feel thankful for him to have him to produce my film. But back to your questions, do we need to have big names directors as producer? I think it's case by case. I don't know. Like, but for Derek Yee, my producer, he really supported me a lot, helped me a lot, and some like complicated problems, I think he solved it like in his own way, and then he didn't even let me know, but just solved it for me. So I think it's good for me, but I'm not sure for others. So yeah.
And then Rachel, 3 of your films are produced by Derek, right? So did you have any, as an actor, do you have any interaction with these big producers?
I think Mr. Yi is a very good producer because he provide a lot of space for directors to create their own style and their own film. So actually we didn't talk much. so yeah, I just communicate with the actors and directors. Yeah.
And then Sylvia, was that the same for you as well?
Yes, because in my understanding, maybe he talked more in the pre-production stage with him. But when we start to film, we have the filming. I guess I met him 2 or 3 times in the location, and one of them is he just bring the bubble teas to visit us.
Want the lunch, right?
Yeah. But and after the film release, he started to talk with us to say how he feels about our performance and the production and editing. But when it's in the production stage, he didn't interrupt a lot, I guess.
But as a filmmaker yourself, do you want to have a producer like that with you?
I think I talk in Cantonese。啱聽佢哋講咧，有一種感覺係咧，嗰個師徒制嘅感覺都幾強，即係嗰樣嘢好親密。而我諗嗰樣嘢嗰個信任就好緊要。咁所以即係我會諗當我唔知道呢一種狀況喺外國係常唔常見，即係個名導演好似去到咁想去轉身成為一個 producer，其實係一個完全唔同嘅工種嚟㗎嘛。即係我諗喺外國嘅 industry 係未必成日發生，但係香港都真係幾多發生喺近年。咁而我諗當我哋經歷呢個轉變嘅時候，嗰個信任係應該係最重要嘅事，而唔係純粹我係一個 big name 咁樣，而係嗰種師徒制嘅 bonding 先令到個作品會 organic 咯變得。
So it sounds like, because from what I hear, it sounds like there's like a teacher-mentor relationship that's very a mentor-mentee or a student-disciple, teacher-disciple relationship that's very close. It's a very intimate, trust involved, and so it's more than just having a big name, quote-unquote big name producer on your film, and I think that's quite important. And I'm not sure if that's the case in overseas, because that's something that happens a lot in Hong Kong, but I'm not sure if that happens a lot overseas.
I speak in Cantonese. 我記得個監製咧，佢教咗我啲咩咧？即係舉一個例子，就係譬如因為廣東話咧好多語氣字嘅，即係你唔好走啦，唔好走喎，即係點譯啊？答多晒啦，即係嗰啲語氣字咧。咁唔同嘅語氣字有唔同嘅意思啦。咁但係監製睇完劇本咧，就叫我咧攞走晒啲語氣字，係啦，你話你唔好走，咁然後咧個語氣咧，你留俾啲演員去發揮。咁點解？因為佢自己都係演員出身，即係咁佢咧就係會日日咧就逐啲咧呢啲咁嘅小 tricks 咧，就會講俾我聽，咁我就代咗好多咁樣。
So in Cantonese we have these ending sounds, so la, whatever, and each of the means has a different meaning. And so I wrote all these in my script, and when Derek saw my script, he told me to take them all out and let the actors decide what that ending emphasis will be. So he always gave these little tricks along the way, and I pocketed them along the way.
And I remember that during the post-production, Mr. Yi, after he saw the rough cut, and he usually write down the time code and his comments and what suggestion he think is right, and you make an A4 paper for me. But after that, he would talk to me like, Nick, these are my comments or my feelings. But I'm not the director, you are. You've got to decide yourself. These are just suggestions, they're not orders. We work like that because, yes, as Lo says, trust is the most important thing between a director and producer.
I have a quick follow-up question as well for our actors, because we were just talking about the producer-director relationship. What about the director-actor relationship? You both have incredibly strong roles in the films that we're talking about today. What kind of space were you given to develop the characters? How did you work to bring those people to the screen? Either?
I think this is quite a special case in our film, and I talk in Cantonese because yes，喺嗰個過程裏邊咧， 因為我哋識咗好多年，我哋係大學同學，咁所以我哋喺學電影 Day One 學電影已經係一齊嘅，咁所以變咗我哋好知道大家喜歡嘅有啲咩啦，佢寫啲嘢出嚟嘅時候，我會大概感覺到啊你其實個呈現係點，都大概有個譜嘅，咁所以喺嗰啲共知。好基本嘅共知好快已經發生咗嘅時候咧，咁我哋變咗後尾好多時間去處理嗰啲 details 嗰啲細節啦，或者係譬如佢寫都係咁嘅，但係當我覺得個人唔係咁嘅時候，我哋就會捉埋其他演員一齊同佢討論，唔係咁嘅喎，咁係點啊？跟住我哋可能會掉其他嘅可能性出嚟，咁其實會影響到個戲之後嘅其他走向。咁我哋呢套戲我覺得係有好多空間。去傾，因為佢都真係好相信演員，同埋我諗因為佢都係編劇出身，所以佢喺現場對於嗰啲討論嗰啲嘢要改嘅時候咧，佢都有一個能力去即時去回應，即係如果咁樣唔得，唔緊要，我諗一諗，但係佢都仲有得佢轉嘅空間同埋佢個時間都會快嘅，即係佢回應得快。
Since we know each other from day one, because we went to university together, we studied film together, so we know each other from day one. So we know each other for so long that we have some very basic understanding. We establish those very quickly. So a lot of times when we talked about details. So because Nick's also a screenwriter, so when I find something that I don't agree with, I grab all the actors and we'll just talk to Nick. And since Nick is a screenwriter, his mind moves so fast that when we come up with something, he'll just go, he says, give me a moment to think about it, and then he'll come back with a response. So he's very collaborative as a director as well.
So in terms of like you mean the trust, right? I'm kind of an actor that enjoys jumping off the cliff. Because in acting, we always got a saying that we got a game called trust fall. It's like when you fall behind, do you have to trust that the director or the actors will like hold on your back and then you just go for it? So in every single role that I played during my acting career, even in a minor or major role, I enjoy jumping off the cliff. So especially with Lawrence, we didn't question much about our trust. So I just jump, and then I know that Lawrence is here, Jennifer, and then all the actors are here. We are trying to, because I think In Broad Daylight is a film that with a strong message, and we understand that, especially in my role, is there's a real victim, right? So yeah, I'm just trying to do my best and then to perform her story in this film. Yeah.
Do we have any questions from the floor?
There's a lot of you here today, so you guys gotta have someone bring your mic.
So, thank you so much for coming, first of all. And I have a question for the directors, but also for the actors. So during the movies, quite yesterday I saw the time transfer pages, and during the movies do you have a moment, a doubt, the biggest doubt during the movie, which like, okay, I want to do this, but what would be the reactions of the public when they see the movies? So it's better not to do that. So yes, if you have, because it's a strong theme you are picturing in the movie. So do you have something you have inside, but you thought maybe it's better not? You have fear, so it's better not to portray it, or at the end you decided to do it anyway.
Okay.
Sorry.
This is for all three.
No
worries. Thank you very much. Is this for all three directors?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll translate for director lead first, and then we can start over there, and then I'll translate for director lead first. 個問題就係話你哋拍三部電影嗰陣，你哋有冇一刻係會質疑或者懷疑，會停一停，跟住會諗啊，如果咁做觀眾會點反應咧？咁你哋有冇一個 moment 係有懷疑或者係質疑自己嘅咧？
我拍之前咧，其實係覺得，因為嗰個 topic 好嚴肅嘅，咁跟住即係諗咗幾年，即係都覺得唔知應唔應該拍呢個題目，其實係因為可能啲觀眾睇到會受傷啊咁樣。咁 咁喺香港咧，譬如啲記者係有啲守則嘅，即係你唔可以好主觀去講一啲自殺嘅新聞咁樣，因為驚會有模仿啊。咁但係去到某一個位咧，我就睇到啲留言去批判啲輕生者，我就好嬲。咁然後我開始諗就係、我細個已經有嗰啲，已經見過嗰啲守則㗎啦。咁但係咁多年嚟，即係佢有用咩？係咪？即係個世界越嚟越差啊！即係我睇嗰啲數字。因為香港嘅輕生者嘅年齡係一路都下降，係下降啊嘛，係啦，即係走嘅人越嚟越細個啊嘛，我就反而開始諗就係唔講先至係嗰個最大嘅問題。咁於是去拍緊嗰陣咧，我就冇諗咁多啦。拍緊嘅時候咧，淨係諗分鏡，諗演員溝通，咁個故仔成唔成立，咁啲畫面就好 focus 去現場嘅事咁樣。
So actually, I had this story. For my film, I had it for a few years and I hesitated to make it. I didn't know whether I should make it or not because there are, for example, even journalists have guidelines about talking about suicide because you don't want to encourage copycats and things like that, right? So, but then the thing is, I saw those guidelines didn't help things and I saw that the average age of people who commit suicide in Hong Kong is still going down. And I realized the biggest problem is if I don't make this film, if I don't talk about it. So this is before I made the film. But then once I started making the film, I didn't think any more about that. I just thought about the production, where the story stands, and I just went for it.
Yes, because such topics in Hong Kong is they're like taboo. We don't supposed to say anything negative on the dining table. Yes.
我就啱啱同佢相反，因為佢頭先所講，佢係喺前邊咁質疑緊自己。其實我一路拍攝嘅時候，我都質疑緊我究竟係咪咁樣去行咧？究竟係咪咁樣去做嘅？其實反而我喺創作劇本上邊，我係覺得我冇考慮過好多嘢。我自己當一下我自己想諗嘅，我想拍嘅，我想呈現嘅嘢，我想係咁。但係喺拍攝嘅過程中，我係好質疑，我每日都質疑緊自己。所以我係覺得，究竟呢場戲處理啱唔啱咧？究竟呢個呈現嘅畫面，或者我同嘅演員嘅溝通嘅方法，或者同演員行嘅位係咪啱咧？呢個係我每一個拍攝都質疑。所以我會每一日同監製溝通嘅時候，我會俾每一日嘅片佢睇，佢會提醒我有某啲咩嘅問題。
So actually, I'm the opposite because Nick was doubting himself before the shooting. I was doubting myself every day while I was shooting. So beforehand, I was sure what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do. But during shooting, every day I was wondering if I was taking the right approach. Was I doing blocking right? Was I shooting the right tone? Was I doing this right? And so I showed the dailies to my producer every day, and then he would give me notes, and that's how I overcame it.
I have to be very honest. Like I think I doubt every second, every minute, every hour, and it's funny how, but I think filmmakers flow with these kind of doubts and anxiety. That's the beautiful part of making movies to me. At first, I heard a lot of these like on set filming stories. Like everyone would doubt, even my producer Derek E would doubt, like he was doubt a lot. Like he worked with anxiety a lot. But then I find out these are part of the elements to make beautiful scenes. For example, there was a scene in the ending of my film, spoilers alert, David Chan, but it's funny, his name is David Chan, but we call him John Go, like Brother John. In Cantonese, it's got two names. But he suggested, there was a scene, he suggested he wanted to give out the cap of his cap to Jennifer, that scene, but it wasn't written in the script. I was doubt, like, is it too much? But that choice, the acting choice is based on the reaction on the scenario. He saw it right that moment, so I let it go. I say we can try. Let's see. It turns out it's great because I was like in doubt too. But I saw my crew, like one of the actors, one of the cameraman, they cried in that scene, in that scenario. Then I think, actually these kind of anxieties, doubts, or even I call it accidents, are so beautiful to make it cinema so special, so magical. So I learned it from all the doubts and anxiety. I think all we learn from it. So yeah, that's my some sharing stories. Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Morning. Hello. I have a question for Director Chun. So you work with David Chun that you just mentioned, and in the West, David Chun is mostly known as a kung fu star, martial art actor, playing Wuxia movie by Chun and kung fu movies, and he was already a good actor in the 70s. He won an award for Vengeance, and now he just won an award as a best supporting role for your movie. So I want to know what can you tell me about him? Were you a fan of him before, and how did you meet him, and how did you propose him this part? And if you have the chance to talk with him, what does he think about his past? Because I know that he doesn't want to talk much about the old movies, but now he's still active and he's still doing good movies and he's still a good actor. So can you tell me a little bit about working with him?
Like working with him, it's amazing, and I think I make my grandma proud to have him. And of course, so-called Bowie Wu, another legend in Hong Kong cinema. I think not only in the West, he is the kung fu superstar legend in our decade. And you know, actually, he is the first best actor in Hong Kong. It's way before the Hong Kong Film Awards. I think Hong Kong Film Awards started in 80s, but because he started making movies in the 60s and 70s, he got the first male leading actor awards. So he is our first Ying Dai in Hong Kong.
Like our first best actor.
Yeah. So, but actually, I think these 30 years, he was more active in television, TV drama series, soap operas, and people start forget about he is from cinema. But when in the first day I worked with him, I saw him and of course Bowie Wu, there. It's overwhelming and it's amazing because two legends, like one David Chan is from 70s and Bowie Wu is from 60s, and they all work in my film. Like, God, like what is happening? like what did I do to earn that chance to work with them? But they are not that kind of like all mentor teachers kind of actors. He knew that he got a lot of experience. He is like the old masters to us, right? But so he started to being active to talk to us and about our daily lives, sharing some thoughts, and he really wanted to know like what is happening, what's going on with all our like these generations. And he never how do you say talking in a way in a very like teaching mode, you know what I mean? Like yeah.
There's never lecture, is never
never lecturing us, giving us like great like boring lecture. No, never. Like he talks about like very trendy stuff. So I think I got a very I think I'm so lucky enough to work with him, and so do you guys, right? Yeah. He's a great. We're still texting sometimes, and
Went to Young Chan.
yeah, I went to Young Chan and say, oh, after the film awards, we were so touching because he can get awards, and I say like after all these birthday like journey, we should still hang out. Come on, please. Yeah, that's my story. Yeah.
Okay. Microphone over there, please. Wait, keep your hand up. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, good morning. In light of this talk being about distribution and production, I'd like to ask which markets or territories are you most interested in working in or with in the future?
To be honest, I always dream to make a movie in Italy. Please, please. So maybe Europe, but I don't. It's maybe difficult to have Hong Kong cooperation. It's happened before. I'm not sure. Maybe won't Hawaii. I don't know.
But Sabrina's very excited. Yeah.
but I can't wait to work to film it here and Europe. I love it here. So yeah. or even Southeast Asia too, maybe. Yeah.
我自己覺得冇一個界限性嘅，即係譬如我想去拍啲乜嘢，係我都係講緊我當時嗰一刻，我想要同觀眾有個咩，我想同觀眾點樣溝通，或者係想講啲咩俾觀眾聽。我覺得嗰一刻先係最重要。其實我冇一個特別嘅界限，我去邊度拍我都 OK 嘅，只要有人揾我嘅話。
So I'm not so driven by territories or borders. So as long as it's something I want to say, and as long as they want me to be there, and I'll be there.
因為我好中意拍嘢啦，咁有啲嘢香港你拍唔到嘅，即係譬如啲沙漠啊、雪景啊、森林啊，咁所以其實冇故事啱咧，邊度拍都得嘅，即係最好就俾我因為做緊自己中意嘅嘢，可以順便環遊世界，咁係最好㗎嘛。
So there are places we can't shoot in Hong Kong. For example, we don't have a desert. We don't have snowy mountains. We don't have forests. So if there's a chance I would take me around the world, filmmaking take me around the world, I would be happy to do it. And then you have a question? Yeah. Front row. Raise your hand, please. Thank you.
Hi. My question is for everyone, and I'd like to know how you bring the Hong Kong style in your movies. Because, you know, in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, you can see from the first shot that it's a Hong Kong movie. So, do you feel that you have to bring now, today, the Hong Kong style to your movies, and how is different from the mainland style? If you know the question. Is it important for you to have an Hong Kong style in your movies?
OK， 因為七八90年代話睇香港電影嗰陣，你一睇就會覺得哇香港電影啊咁，香港電影風格啊咁，咁你點樣將喺你嘅電影，你點樣帶呢個所謂香港電影風格去你嘅電影度，同埋其實同內地嘅電影有冇唔同咧嗰個風格？
好先。我自己一路都係香港成長啦，其實你問我自己做得最開心嘅工作就係做導演或者係入電影圈。咁我入電影圈咁多年，我諗20幾年嘅時候，其實我哋個根始終都係香港，我哋學嘅嘢都係香港，或者我哋睇嘅戲都係香港電影。咁你問我係唔係可以自己可以拍嘅時候可以有嗰樣嘢？我覺得根本就已經喺度，一路都冇走過，所以我唔識去點形容我哋可以一拍出嚟嘅，我哋就係香港電影。其實本身已經喺嗰個根已經喺度，我就覺得係香港。
Because I was born and raised in Hong Kong, I worked in Hong Kong cinema for 20 years, so Hong Kong cinema is something that's embedded in me. I don't know how to explicitly say there's a Hong Kong style, but because I live and breathe Hong Kong films, so everything I make would be a Hong Kong cinema style.
I totally agree with Jonathan, and I think it's the DNA like deep inside us, and then I don't think we planned it to make it like Hong Kong style or whatever, Malaysian style, whatever. But it's just it's based on our own personality or the yeah. I don't think we did actually the same question you can ask about Hollywood too. When I see the Netflix movies or nowadays the Hollywood movies, they started maybe because of the globalization or whatever, like all the cultures started to blend it together, and it's not like regional anymore because we learn from other cultures. We learn from. I think it's a great example for his movie Dust to Duds, like a Hong Kong grown-up directors making movies in mainland China, but you can feel the mixtures in the movie. It's not like a Hong Kong movie or a mainland Chinese movie. It's his movie, his style, with his DNA. So I think that's what we do, right? So we try to make it with style, but based on our own personality and heart, souls.
Rachel?
Totally agree with you.
He needs time to
It's
think.
a hard question to kind of think about. 對我嚟講，因為每一個故事咧，佢嗰個起點都好唔同。 即係譬如Time Still Turns the Page 佢好 personal 嘅。咁但係下次可能我想寫一個係一個 high spill 咁樣，咁我追求觀能刺激嘅。咁呢啲戲咧，佢會 present 到啲咩咧？就係、是、嗰個城市嘅可能係一啲陰暗面或者係光明面。咁每次個 case 都好唔同嘅。咁但係我覺得子俊同羅老師講得啱，因為我係香港人，我拍出嚟嘅戲自然有個香港 movie 嘅。其實創作嘅時候唔係諗緊香港三嗰啲樣嘢。
So, for example, if there's a case-by-case basis, for example, Time Still Turns the Page is a very personal film, but for our next film, if we want to make a heist movie, and that's more about thrills, and so that'll be a different handling. So it's case-by-case basis. But like Lawrence and Jonathan said, because we are born and raised in Hong Kong, we don't explicitly think about Hong Kong style. It's just something that's within us. Sylvia?
因為啱討論到嗰個風格嗰樣嘢，好容易我哋會諗咗佢，或者我理解都係一個 visual style 啦。咁但係香港佢嗰個特別就係佢冇一個好容易被梳理出嚟嘅影像邏輯，或者對比日本 cinema 小津安二郎嘅機位嗰個點樣去攞嗰啲建築嘅幾何咁樣。但係當去到香港，我哋好難去梳理，或者甚至乎我諗香港嘅電影人都好忙咧，過嗰幾十年咧，我哋唔會去梳理，我哋點樣拍到嗰份嘢出嚟。就係頭先大家所講一樣，好自然就喺度，而嗰樣嘢又真係會認到喎。所以呢個問翻我哋轉頭咧，我覺得係好難去講。就係、我哋好似拍出嚟嘅，我唔係話我哋拍嘢一樣，但係譬如啲機位點擺，嗰啲演員嘅節奏係點嘅，個行位係點嘅，係確實有種香港嘅感覺喺度。即係我哋唔係淨講緊以前 action movie 固然有一個佢好犀利嘅format啦。咁但係去到而家拍文戲多嘅，都依然有一個我哋嘅 texture 喺度，而我自己係梳理唔到一件咩事嘅。但係確實係好有趣，係好自然，我哋自己出嚟。
So I assume that when we talk about Hong Kong style, we talk about visual style. But the thing is, in Japan, Ozu can do his pillow shots and whatnot. But in Hong Kong, there's also a very unique sort of visual sense that only we can do. Action cinema, there's a very recognizable visual style. But even for dramas, there are certain blockings and shots or angles that only we from Hong Kong, we know how to do it. So when we talk about Hong Kong style, it's hard for us to identify what that is. It's something that's within us already. So I think that's all the time we have today. So that went by really quickly. So thank you, Jonathan Lee. Thank you, Lawrence Kahn. Thank you, Rachel Lawrence. Thank you.